Yes, it's that time again. It's the Defiant NFT live stream. And as joining us as always is Vector Meldrew. Hello, Vector. How are you?
Hi, yeah, I'm good. I've got my A Lot of Money tribute wallpaper just to pay respects for last week.
Oh, a lot of money. And joining us as well is Adelina from World of Women, the head of comms there for a project which has been just an unbridled success in the last 12 months. Adelina, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me here today, and hello to everyone.
And I think we should point out that you have a guest on your side as well who might be making some unscheduled appearances in the frame, or might be hearing from a dog that you have there as well.
Yeah, that's Callie.
She's going to come and make an appearance at some point. She's gorgeous. We saw her just before the stream started.
Probably steal the screen, or I don't know what's the expression in English, but yeah.
A scene stealer. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably fair enough. Adelina, what are 12 months? Is it even 12 months? It's been for World of Women. It's not even 12 months. 7 months for World of Women. Can you give us a little kind of rundown of what has happened, where we're at, and where you think World of Women is going?
Oh, wow, in 7 months, that's a lot. I can tell you everything that happened in 2022, for example. But yeah, from the start, so it has been 7 months, and I joined the adventure, I think, like 2 weeks after the project launched or something. I didn't know anything regarding NFTs back in the time, so it was like a huge discovery for me, and I was really happy that the team trusted me for the job despite that. So we accomplished a lot. At first, I think the most important thing for us was really to deliver on the roadmap and on everything we announced. And lately, we've been doing always more and more and more. So from our latest announcements, we announced the launch of the World of Women Foundation with the Sandbox. So the Sandbox is granting us $25 million so that we can lead and support women into the metaverse, as well as NFTs. So we have great projects ahead regarding that, such as, like, I can talk about hours, so you will have to stop me at some point.
No, I'm fascinated because I think World of Women is one of those projects that stands apart, and it's exciting for people looking into this space and looking for something that they can feel good about, because there's so much toxicity at the moment. And I feel like your project is one of those where people feel comfortable to come and plant their flag and say, actually, I support this, and it stands for something that I want to see. And it's amazing that you're now seeing, like, significant sums of money being brought to you to help accomplish that vision. It's really interesting. I've just seen the Eva Longoria is excited to be talking to you. That's pretty cool. You've got these incredible women leaders like searching you out to chat. Has that been something you've looked for? Or has it just sort of happened organically?
It actually happened organically. It's like you wake up, you look at your Twitter thread, and you're like, oh, Eva Longoria changed her profile picture. Welcome to the family. And that's like the best news ever. And you're like super happy and excited. And like, it's people that you know, without knowing personally, of course, but you know from the big screen or from other projects. And it's impressive. And yeah, it's incredible. So to get back to, do you want me to get back to your first question? Because I have lots of other stuff that I can talk about.
Yeah, like, please. No, give us everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So the WOW Foundation, so we will voxelize the 10,000 World of Women so that our community can join us there. We will have a program to educate newcomers to the NFT space and metaverse. Some kind of incubator also for projects and artists who wants to, create their own stuff, so we can help them out, mentor them, and then put their work out and share it. We will have a museum also where we'll be sharing a lot of art, both from our fun and probably other things too. So we really want to, work on these different topics that are dear to us. So there's the art part that is really important to us, obviously, as we do like collaborations all the time, and we have this fun and everything, and all of this money from our primary sales already that has been dedicated to that. We have like the charity side that is really also dear to us, as we We partnered with Code Green because we wanted to do more. And so we did a special auction at Davos with the World Economic Forum and everything. So this is also an important part. And then we have the education part because we want to integrate more people in the NFT space. We want it to be more diverse and representative. And for that, we need more people to get to understand things, because when you don't know anything about NFTs, it's kind of complicated. You're like, okay, what are people talking about? NFT, what is that? 3 letters, okay, non-fungible token, but what else? So yeah, the goal is really, to work on these different things and legitimate it also in the real world. And regarding that, for example, we were at Christie's recently, and we were the only NFT sold there during the London evening sale, which was pretty cool. And the auction went for, I think, approximately, I don't remember the exact pound number, but it was the all-time high for World of Women. And also it was the highest selling NFT at Christie's for a woman. So yeah, pretty pretty cool for us. Recently, there's been also the Billboards Women in Music Awards, where we've been. Our artist Tiam Karkai, she went on stage and she shared our project and our collaboration with Billboard. So with Billboard, we did NFT covers of Madonna, Christina Aguilera, and Mariah Carey. And these covers were auctioned, and part of the auctions are going to charities of the stars' choices. So yeah, these are a few things. We also have the collaboration with Hello Sunshine, who will be creating the stories around World of Women. So it can be scripted, unscripted, TV shows, movies, etc. And the community will be involved as well. What else can I say?
Well,
if you want to react.
Yeah, so the lots of things happening, and I think there's over the course of many of these projects that we've seen in the space, their journey, they look to other projects to copy what they've done, and then they kind of say, well, if we do that, then it will work. And I feel like with World of Women, you're kind of breaking new ground with the things that you're doing. Is that, how conscious are you of doing that you need to just kind of be the tip of the spear for some of these new ideas for what an NFT community project could be?
So we have great ambitions, obviously, and it's all kind of unknown territory. Everything is so new. So I mean, I think everyone's that currently here is still like setting the rules for the future to come somehow. And yeah, so we're trying to do it our way as well, and trying to aim high so that like the standards for the NFT community can be as well, like kind of trying to lead the way and work at the level of our ambitions.
So the main question is, like, the World of Women's proposition was unique when it came out. It was fresh when it came out, and it was about representing women, of course, but of course anybody who felt kind of marginalized or was a minority community of any type, really, which was very rare at the time, because I think everyone thinks of crypto as as majority crypto bros, men in their kind of mid-20s. You don't represent that. You represent, is it everything else? Is it other people? What is it that you represent these days?
So to be honest, like, everyone can join the World of Women community. That's the first thing to say. But the reason why the project was born initially is, as you say, it was brand new. Why? Because at that time, Yam, who was already an NFT artist and doing 1/1 art, she wanted to get herself a 1/1 collectible NFT, and she felt like nothing was resonating with her, so that she didn't feel. Yeah, she felt like it was all really like male focused, like for guys. And she didn't feel like there was something that would represent her as a profile picture. So she was like, okay, let's do a woman profile pic collection. And that's how the project was born. So yeah, mostly for women who feel like they want to have a profile pic that represent them. Like, for example, I really love mine. I think she's a baddie. and yeah, but then anyone, to be honest, anyone who supports the cause, anyone who wants to celebrate diversity, representation, equal opportunities for all, like really everyone who shares the same vision and set of values and have the same mission, really.
So from the outside, it probably looks as if everything's been rosy. It's just been this kind of glorious, extended rocket ship to the moon. But of course, it's never like that. Can you articulate some of the struggles that you've encountered along the way?
To be honest, we didn't have any major thing that blocked us. So I think one of the things that really, I think there are a few things that really help. So one of the things is that the team of co-founders are all 4 friends. And then everyone who got recruited also were really in the same mindset, same spirit. So having a team that works well together, I think, is really important. We also built a very qualitative community. Like we always did organic growth. Like we always try to keep things qualitative, even if it's sometimes frustrating and you just want to like pay for stuff, have huge engagement and make it the easy way, or just like shill your Discord and have a bunch of people joining. But we always wanted to keep it like quite clean and organic, you know, just so that people who join us really join us because they know about us, they did their research, and they're acquainted with it. So that's a few things. And then I think, you know, having a long-term goal, a long-term vision also helps because you know where you want to go. And then it helps you like find different kind of ideas to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess the main struggle that a lot of projects have is that they run out of ideas and their community kind of deserts them. So they resort to kind of cheap tricks to keep people excited and keep them interested. One of which is release a second NFT or a pet or an egg or something like that. But I think what's been notable about Wild Women is you haven't done that. You've done partnerships. I remember the Top Dog Beach Club partnership was super cute. I know that team pretty well these days. But there is something coming now, which is the World of Women Galaxy.
Yes.
Can you give us a little tease about what that is going to be about? I've got the medium article here.
So just to bounce back on your previous question rapidly, I think the main struggle is the time, you know, because we always are like trying to grind for more time in a day to be able to accomplish all of these ideas. As for World of Women Galaxy, so yeah, yesterday we published a teaser on our Twitter. So it's just a picture of one of the WOG from the Future collection. So I think if you type hashtag the time is WoW Galaxy, you can find it on Twitter. Yeah, thank God I'm not the one streaming, because otherwise you would see that I have like a million tabs and like it's very.
Oh, trust me, trust me, I have that.
Yeah, that's true. And I see you didn't like more retweets. Oh, you're not logged in. That's okay then.
Is this it?
Yeah.
That's the right one. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
what's going on here?
So this is a sneak peek from our future collection. So a futuristic collection. We did an RG, alternate reality game, to tease it a few months back. So it was really fun because there was this entire story about a woman that gets cryptic messages from, she doesn't even know from there. She just gets cryptic messages. So she starts building a team to understand what it means. And so we were doing like these enigmas with our community who was like coming up together to try to solve things, and then they were rewarded. And it lasted like a few weeks, months. It was really interesting, and some of them were really hard, and people managed to like solve everything, and we were so impressed. Like on Slack, we were like trying to bet on the time, like how long do you think this one is really hard? Okay, maybe they'll take longer, whatever. So yeah, it was really fun, a really fun way to tease the new collection. And then we waited a bit before we actually started the promotion phase. So this is gonna be it. Today we will give more details. For now, this was only a sneak peek. So I'm giving you like I'm giving you more.
You're dropping alpha here.
So yeah, just like really like everything's gonna happen mostly on Twitter and Discord. So we will just progressively, you know, give more information to the community regarding this new collection. And yeah, you know, we, as always, we try to like do it the best way as we can and like meet our quality standards. And to be honest, I mean, I don't know what you think about it, but I really like the art of World of Women Galaxy. So if I get a really cool one, then I will be like, which one should be my profile picture? And this will be my life. How do you say, dilemma?
Yes. Well, listen. The thing is that you've mentioned the art there, and people have enjoyed the art. They like the art, but as we know, this space has been the recipient of the inevitable backlash, and it's come from a number of different places. But Vector, you were telling us just before the stream about something that had happened to you. I wonder if you could just give us a shape of what your NFT experience has been just the last week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've had all sorts of criticisms that seem to come out of the woodwork. I thought we're kind of clear of a lot of that in some ways, or at least, you know, I feel like it went mainstream and it was kind of acceptable. But yeah, this week there was a fairly strange occurrence whereby I was asked to lecture at a university. They promoted the event. They did a poster, put the poster up. Within minutes, there was like a student cabal mob that had written a long list of reasons as to why they don't believe that I should be allowed to lecture at the university, because basically because NFTs are a scam. All the art is low effort just to make money, and pyramid schemes, etc., and environment, the usual kind of stuff. But it was just quite strange, because I guess at an institution, that's where people go to learn. And these are the students who've paid to go there to learn, and they're being given like a lecture on something that's like a new industry. And there was just a big pushback, which, you know, I feel is a shame, because I feel there's when people say things like the art is low effort, like, or there's copies, or, you know, the way that these generative collection works, they don't really understand that there's a whole strategy behind that, and there's a whole reason for why it might look like a template. And people, that was a surprising thing to me, just really the levels of which there isn't quite an understanding of what we're doing here, and there's a lot more below the surface. But yeah, I feel like it's risen up again a bit recently, right? You've had that experience also, you were saying earlier.
Yeah, no, I have, and I've been thick in the weeds. But I'm curious, Adelina, whether any of that has come your way, because inevitably, when you get successful, people get envious, and then there's pushback, and there's, you know, people don't want to have things forced down their throats. And World of Women has been one of the most successful of these projects. So I'm curious whether any of that's come your way, how you deal with it, and whether it matters at all.
To be honest, I personally tend to ignore negative comments, but they're usually quite rare. I mean, I haven't really witnessed any big drama whatsoever, so keeping fingers crossed. But yeah, when people people are allowed to not like the art. I mean, art is so subjective. Even if it's like a masterpiece, you could not like it because it doesn't appeal to you. Like, there's no rule. But yeah, usually just negative comments. I don't intervene with them if it's just for the sake of saying something negative. But if it's something where someone is clearly missing an information, I will provide that information. But, you know, that's all. I don't think there's a need to engage in like negative discussions and everything. I'd rather spend my time like interacting with others that have like some more positive stuff to say. Might sound like selfish, but it also helps on your mental health side.
Well, there's this story that the NFTs were helping artists. They were giving creators a place to connect with others, to have their voices heard, to make some money. Yeah, because believe it or not, we actually do need to earn a living doing what we do. But for some reason now, it's like this comment that I put up here: I definitely won't be wasting my money on woke trash, but idiots sure will. Like, World of Women is not about being woke at all, is it?
I'm sure it's more about like people who just don't believe in NFTs in general and think that it's not gonna make it.
So you were talking earlier about giving people the information that they don't have. But that's a very small number of people who actually want to hear that information. What I'm hearing from Vector is that he got cancelled, and it wasn't that he was given an opportunity to talk about something and give people a fair discussion. There was no discussion. I think that's the thing that bothers me about all of this, that it's a shouting match and nobody's willing to have that discussion because they believe they are right and you are wrong, because to believe anything else is to put yourself in a gray area where it feels really uncomfortable. And I have a real hard problem with that, because if we lose the discourse, if we lose the discussion, then, like, as you said, not everyone has to like a piece of art, but then you talk about it and you say, well, why don't you like it? And like, I like it because of this, and I like it because of that. And like, that's healthy. Just shouting at each other into the void is instinctively idiotic, it seems like.
I think there's a lot also of, ignorance. Like when you don't know something, sometimes you can feel like it's not attracting you at all. Like I'm not finding the proper word, but repulsed, quote mark, because you don't know it. And so it's just like your first feeling, your first reaction. And so I really believe that there's like lots of educational work to do, and that we have to try to bridge this gap between traditional art and NFTs, and show people that that it's not incompatible, on the opposite. But yeah, and like the fact that you weren't allowed to talk, it kind of reminds me of all these times where someone had like a revolutionary idea and people said, oh no, this is evil, this is bad, and then everyone embraced it. So I'm like, I guess if there's lots of haters, it means you're doing something right.
That's what they say. Was it first they laugh at you, then they argue with you, and then you win? So I think they were laughing at us last year. Now they're arguing with us. What's going to happen next?
Yeah, and to be fair, for valid criticisms, but I mean, we're talking about The Line Goes Up Here, which is a film which directly criticized my boss and called her a failed journalist, called her book an abortion of a book, and it pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. And I went to a place where I was like, well, what are we listening to here? What are we listening to? A small but very vocal minority of people who have a very valid worldview that we should listen to? Or are we just listening to a bunch of people who like to shout about stuff? And I think the answer is that, honestly, they do have a valid point. And what I've discovered is that it's predominantly coming from the world of gaming, and particularly PC gaming. And I've spent the last 3 weeks investigating this and making a film about it. And what you've come to find out is that there are no women hating on NFTs on YouTube. They don't exist. It's only men. And weirdly, the world of gaming, we think of it as this one big thing, but it's not. It's PC gaming, and it's mobile gaming, and it's console gaming. The biggest growth sector right now is mobile gaming. The people who play mobile games the most, women. They're not complaining about NFTs. So everything that appears to be this loud, noisy, just shouting match against us is just a very small number of people who have a very kind of warm and fuzzy place that they don't want to see wrenched away from them, and have been in this kind of battle with nothing to do with us, but they see big game publishers as just adding on another extractive monetization policy onto them. This has nothing to do with what World of Women is about. And yet, because of this simple, moniker NFTs, and you use basically what is a file format, like a PDF. That's it. And it's like getting angry at NFTs is like getting angry at anyone that turns a book into a PDF. I mean, or MP3s. It's utterly insane. But this is what we're battling against at the moment. So you're absolutely right. The education is important. But we also just have to recognize that people are really broken right now, and they need a little bit of, understanding and sympathy, and we can't just shout back. We have to be really mindful of that and understanding of just where in, time we are right now.
I mean, so I've been working with communities for a long time, and there was one thing I used to do in my old job, because I used to work in tech and gaming, and so I had many haters sometimes. And the people that were the most vocal on social media, if you took the time to actually talk to them and try to understand their point of view, they would like transform into ambassadors like of your brand and love you like more than everyone else. But it's just people that like maybe has lots of times on their hands, or I mean it depends on the situation, but it's definitely people who usually want to talk. And when you take the time to actually answer all of their questions, you can either disagree at the end and just say like, hey, okay, we agree to disagree, or like get to a common ground somehow. And I feel like it really helps. But yeah, sometimes the haters are the people who actually are okay, in my opinion, who are okay with discussing and not just shouting back at each other.
I wanted to believe that when it came to the NFT haters. I reached out to so many,
Oh yeah.
just the just not interested, not
Okay.
interested, and I'm okay with being wrong. I think that's what they, maybe is not representative about this space, that people tend to meet fire with fire. And also, like, so many NFT and collectors and everything else are also gamers. Like it's the same basic community. So what I really want is just a chance to have that conversation and to listen to what they have to say, and have my mind changed. I like nothing more than being wrong, because then I know that my own biases are being challenged, and I'm kind of moving through my understanding of the world constantly alive to the possibilities of what's out there. I hate being right, honestly. So I just I find it really hard to try and even just start a conversation. It might just be the point in the cycle that we're at. And I'm also working really hard to try and understand what they see that pisses them off so much. Like what are they reacting to? And I think we have to be really mindful of that. The thing about World of Women is you are a project that celebrates inclusivity and equal opportunities. And so of all projects, this is the thing that I feel like you have the best chance of advocating for and being a voice for, which is why I wanted to get you on the show.
Yeah, and maybe the fact, that we support so many artists as well, kind of help people not feel like it's unfair that just the one collection has so much success, because we're trying to give back like in different ways, as I was saying previously, like through art, collaborations, charities, and lots of different things. So yeah, maybe that also like helps. I mean, as I was saying, I don't have like I don't have like haters like you met, and I'm glad, and I'm glad it's not a daily problem, because it's very draining. Like for having living it in the past, I know it's very draining. It's not it's not cool. So yeah, probably you're probably right. Yeah.
I think there's also a degree to which human beings, on the whole, are not always the best of themselves all the time. And I think there's been this rush to put ourselves on social media and broadcast and earn a living broadcasting something, and then copying strategies that allow you to monetize yourself and everything else at the expense of authenticity. So there's this sort of mindset where we get the template, we get the easy access version of something, so we can look 99% as credible as anything else. But I think what a genuine artist does is they take that and they throw it in the bin and run in the opposite direction. And I think you can see through it pretty quickly when there is a genuine artist there and when there isn't. So I guess for if you're celebrating artists, how do you select them? How do you spot that talent out there?
So we have different things that we've been doing. So one of the things is we recruited pretty early on an art liaison. So her name is Danny, and she's in charge of curating every month 7 different artists, because we are doing art drops every month to our holders. So in World of Women, there are different skin tones. For example, some women are green, blue, purple, or human skin tones, which are the human ones. So yeah, as you can, there is a purple one, for example, she's a night goddess. The green one is a cyber green, etc. There's a rainbow one. I have a rainbow one too. So yeah, each one comes from a different world, and so each world gets a different art drop every month. So if you own 3 different wows who come from 3 different worlds, you will get 3 different art drops. And so Danny is in charge of creating them. Then other team members can also tell her, hey, I found this awesome artist. Maybe we should try to collaborate with them or whatsoever. We try to pick various artists, diverse artists, not necessarily just women. I mean, it can be anyone from anywhere in the world. We're just trying to take like different regions and yeah, not just have one gender or the other. And yeah, so this is to bring more values to the holders and also collaborate with great artists. And then on the other hand, we have a creators group on our Discord. So it's the World of Women holders that have the color palette earrings. And each month they ask us to bid on art of their choice up to 0.3 ETH. And so we bid on them. If we win it, we're happy because we have a new piece for our fund. If we don't, we're happy because we consider our mission was a success because we gave more visibility to that person, because we always promote them on our social media channels as well. And we have more than 100,000 followers now. So it's a good way also of promoting these smaller artists. For example, then this month we're doing a curation with Super Rare during the entire month for Women's Month. So that's also something where we're doing like the curation and promoting the artists. And then, another thing. At the moment, right now, there's the first worldwide NFT exhibition. Oh yeah, you're very quick. This is fun. Oh yeah, I really love these. All of them. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there's the first worldwide NFT exhibition. So we organized it with Vinci Airports and Code Green, and we curated different art pieces. There are also some wows that you can see in like more than 20 airports. So if you're planning on going on vacation or wherever, you might see them on the screens.
So I think the thing that struck everyone last year was NFT NYC, when there was just NFTs on billboards everywhere. And it was this kind of weird coming out party for the entire space where everything was massively overexposed and people just went, what the fuck is this? Are you worried about overexposing the brand and being subject to that? Because there's something to be said for growing slowly and growing organically and growing contained. But then, of course, you want to be exposed. You want to have these ideas and this community in front of as many people as possible, I guess.
Which risk are you talking about?
So I guess the issue I see is that there's the potential to be overexposed too quickly in the general public. And then that's basically what happened at NFT NYC. I mean, a lot of people just confronted with this stuff and just didn't know what to do with it, and didn't have that kind of response that everyone that we know from this space has had growing up through it. And I wonder if that, you're the head of comms, you have to manage the messaging. Is that something that you think about a lot? Just how to parse out the message?
I mean, I think it's kind of a collective work right now. I mean, you have to move forward and break some barriers to make people change their mindset, but it should always come with like its educational part, so that people can understand why is it something that is cool, why NFTs are not evil, and so on. So yeah, you may change the way you're telling your story depending on where you're going to be showcased or who you're going to be talking to. But I still think that we should aim for these, and we should aim for the wider audience, because I mean that's the future. so yeah, we have to make the change we want to see.
One of the big things that happened was, and the thing that I think a lot of people went, oh damn, it was, of course, this Guy Series signing World of Women, because he'd signed Bored Ape Yacht Club, and then World of Women came out. It was like, oh damn.
Yeah, he also like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Madonna. So yeah.
So this is a super connected individual who obviously knows the celebrity set and then a lot of celebrities started collecting World of Women. Obviously, after Bored Apes, it was the one that people wanted. How was that? Because that's a big kind of rubber stamp, blue chip seal of approval right there. It must have been wild.
Yes, it is. Definitely helps open doors. And Guy's clearly very brilliant person who has a lots of connections and um, lots of great ideas and insights to give us. So it's like, I mean, we're definitely going to learn a lot from his expertise and already are doing so. But yeah, I mean, people were quite excited as well, as much as we were, I think, because as much as we're not focused on the floor, we did see a big jump after signing with Kai Osiri. But it's also when we announced full ownership of intellectual property rights to the owners as well. Happened at the same time.
Yeah, so and that's always the question, isn't it? Well, what is being represented here? Is it the World of Women brand? Is it the art? How does that all work? Because I've never really been quite able to understand how those relationships would work, and maybe that you haven't figured it out yet. That's also perfectly fine. But I don't know if you do you have any ideas?
I didn't get the beginning of your question. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Just more how the management structure works. Because if I'm a sportsman or a musician and I have a manager, there's a very clear understanding of what that relationship is for.
Oh, it's the brand.
It's for the brand.
Yeah.
And then in terms of what and where that brand will go, I guess we will have to see.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
He's do.
You stole the words from my mouth.
Damn it! I was hoping for a bit of insight there, because I mean, in the past, I have been managed and represented, and you always get this rush of excitement that you feel validated, massively validated, and then suddenly you're just like, well, you still have to do a ton of work, and actually, this relationship is really just about kind of giving you extra commercial possibilities or opening doors in different places, but it never actually kind of ends up being this transformational moment. It's just like another step along the journey.
It's still a very helpful step.
I bet.
Who helps you like sign the best deals that you can do and go in the right direction.
Can you speak to that direction at all? Can you give us a glimpse of the future? I mean, you can
alpha. You want some alpha?
We don't know. We don't want alpha.
I'm not the one that is talking directly to guys, so I actually genuinely don't know.
You genuinely don't know. Well, I think one of the biggest tests of any crypto project is a bear market, and inevitably there will be a prolonged and nasty bear market. Do you guys ever have discussions about that? What kind of,
to be honest, we never talk about it internally. We just we always say that we're here for the long run, so we just really keep focusing on the things that we want to achieve and keep building the brand. I mean, I'd rather the floor goes down or up. We're always on the same mindset.
Yes.
It doesn't affect our mindset. That's what I mean.
Well, yes, and I worked for a crypto project, and I joined them in the middle of a bear market, and they'd done an ICO things, and it was brutal. I'm not going to lie. It was a tough time because there was just so much negativity that came our way. But I think, strangely enough, that the power of an NFT project is it kind of jumps over that. You can get involved in something that's cultural, and culture doesn't care about bear markets.
And yeah, to be honest, our holders, they're even when the market goes down, they're they say they're here for the long run as well, but they trust the team and the project overall. So it's good vibes. But to be honest, we always, I mean, I don't know how you call that in English, the bisounours. It's so much benevolent people and kindness and everything, and it's self-managing community, and we're we're very lucky and we're so happy about that. So yeah, I think we're really, to be honest, we're really lucky, and it's also because people are in the same set of values of being welcoming to others and being kind and sharing their knowledge and everything. So I think that helps a lot for having a non-toxic Discord and a non-toxic community.
The funny thing is, I think that other projects look at what you have and they go, "Oh yeah, we can do that. We can do that." But the community, when I know it's just the hardest word to say with a straight face, community. But in certain cases, when it has grown organically, it really is valuable and has a thing, and you can't fork a community at all.
Oh, it is. It is a main pillar, definitely. I mean, you're nothing without your community when you have such a project.
Mr. Vector Melju, do you have questions for Adelina?
I'm just incredibly happy that there's a project that's delivering on their roadmap as they said they would, because there's so many of these projects that are just around about this time. I think they're starting to show the cracks, or you get hints of soft rugs happening. So yeah, I'm just really impressed that you launched and delivered, and we're still here now, and it's sitting in a very positive light. I can't remember though when it launched. Like, were the promises? Was the roadmap clear when it launched, or was the roadmap?
Yeah, we had a clear roadmap on the website, and then we had several other roadmaps since the first one. I don't know how many actually, but a few.
Wow. What is your advice to the projects that are looking around right now and considering a soft rug? What words of inspiration would you give them to kind of compete on the same level?
I mean, to be honest, I would say I think having a mission helps a lot, but I guess it would depend on the kind of project that you're doing. But yeah, having a mission really helps, so that you know where you're looking to, what your direction is, and what you should do to go there. And also just go and have some high ambitions, and don't think it's impossible, because I mean, we're all setting the new rules here. So just go for it, really.
Wow.
Yeah, and don't be a scammer.
Yeah, don't be a scammer.
Try not to be a scammer.
I mean, it's amazing how many people I have met over the course of the last 5 years that started off with wonderful intentions and were really on a good path, and then when things got tough, they just made one bad decision, and then rather than just saying, you know what, I made a bad decision, they double down and they keep making bad decisions, and it just destroys everything. And I can see it happening again over and over and over. It's why I guess the projects in this space that are going to last have to grow up fast. And I think that's my last question for you, Adelina. Are you feeling the need to scale and mature and grow up and put some of the things that you might have done a few months ago behind and say, actually, this is real, this is serious?
What do you mean?
I guess from my side, even as recently as 3 months ago, I could pretty much reach out to NFT projects and they would all just jump in and say, yeah, we're there. Now I'm getting referred to PR agencies. I'm getting referred to comms companies. I'm getting asked to vet questions in advance. And I'm sad, because we used to have these really open and flowing conversations, and now we have to kind of ring fence stuff and be a bit more careful about what we say. And, there's lawyers in the background making sure that the image is managed properly. And it makes me sad to a degree.
So you know how I was telling you when you were asking me for the main challenges, I was telling you that there was no main challenge, but if there was one thing that was really hard is time, and finding more time per day. And I'm sure that everyone from the team would be happy to discuss with everyone, because we all want to know everything. And if we didn't put limits ourselves, we would be looking at what everyone is doing individually. But you have to delegate, you have to grow your team, definitely. And you must have new people come in so that they can help you out and make things better than what you would do. For example, for the charities part, it was something that was really important for us. So to professionalize, we decided to have Inamoja join our team. Inamoja, who is the one who's dealing with our partnership with Code Green, as she's the founder of Code Green, and she's very well versed on all of these topics. For the art, I was saying it was something important for us, so we had an art liaison very early on. We had a community manager very early on. I mean, I was a community I'm a part-time community manager as well. So yeah, you need to have these people that can help you accomplish the mission you set yourself. And I know it can be deceiving, because you want to reach out to everyone and everything, but it's not possible. Like Yam would love to discuss to everyone as well, but she has to do art and to do public appearances and a lot of things. And yeah, and then yeah, I personally like to ask questions beforehand because you can maybe not tell it, but I'm not super comfortable yet during lives and everything, and so it kind of reassures me. And yeah, and then I can know that I'm not gonna have like a question that will make me feel super uncomfortable, and I will not know what to answer.
Yeah, the thing that I think people forget is that all of these projects are startups, and startups, most of them fail, and most of them have to go through this scaling process where, you know, the best thing you can do is hire, as you said, people who are better at your job than you, and that is really the hardest part. It's finding the right talent to bring onto a team. So I think that for me is my final question: is how do you find talent, and if there's talent out there that wants to work with you, how can they get in touch?
So we like to publish our job offers on Discord, actually. This is how we found our current copywriter. This is how we found Ina, she contacted Yam directly, actually. So this is how the connection was born. Then Danny was part of the community, or Art Liaison. Kashvi, our community manager, was part of the community as well. We like to take people from the community because we think they're already invested in the project. They know what they're talking about, and like it's really a great pick. They contacted me because we worked together before for a few years. We were also friends. So yeah, I say, oh, despite that, you contacted me. Thank you. But it's a joke.
So there you go. So if you want to work for World of Women, or you think you can add your skills, then join the Discord. Adelina, it's been lovely to have you. Vector, unless you have any other questions, I think we should let Adelina go. And we didn't see the dog.
Ready?
Dog reveal.
Dog reveal. Don't forget to refresh the metadata. There's the doggy.
It's a bit of a wow.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Why are you in the background?
Doesn't recognize canine faces. Adelina, we shall let you go now. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been really, really insightful, and I wish you guys and girls all the best. Thank you so much. Adios.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
So Vector,
yep,
we're gonna get into some stuff. We're gonna jump into the LimeWire news. We're gonna do a little bit of a retrospective on a lot of money, who sadly passed away, and I'd love to take a look at cyberbrokers. I don't know if you saw that. We had Josie Bellini on the show a couple of weeks back, and the cyberbrokers revealed this week, and yeah, they're pretty dope. But before we get into any of that, we must hear from our sponsors.
We left Earth and settled the cosmos. Our greatest accomplishment became our downfall. Our struggle for freedom would last 9 decades. Warriors emerged and made the ultimate sacrifice. In the final battle at Mu 36, we achieved victory, but it would be centuries before we would know the cost. Learn our story. This is only the beginning.
Optimistic Bunnies is one of the first projects to launch on the Optimism Network. So you know what that means? It means the world won't stop moving when you mint them, and you shouldn't be priced out either. There are over 100 different accessories for the bunnies, which are minting now for the price of 0.025 Ether. Lots of cool things are coming, including companion characters, which all current token holders could receive for free. Hop on over to www.optimisticbunnies.com to learn more and mint yours today. Hey, so we're back. Dude, I cannot believe you got cancelled by the university.
There is talk of getting it back as a debate. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I was going there to inform. This is an animation course. I was like excited to say, look, there's shitloads of jobs in this metaverse thing we're building. We need like riggers, modelers, anyone doing 3D animation. There's loads of work for you here. You know, educate yourself on that kind of trend. And got cancelled because they thought I was trying to shield them up. But there is debate of going back and having a debate, and maybe it was just framed wrong. I mean, the poster did say crypto degenerate rave lord, so that might have been I forgot to
Hey,
mention
you
that
need
part.
you need to hire Adelina to work on your comms, my friend.
I
I think that's it. The sales pitch was all off there. Oh my god.
Yeah, maybe I pitched it wrong.
Maybe you pitched it wrong.
I had good
Yeah.
intention. Well, they pitched it wrong actually. They
Oh,
actually
God.
made this poster saying that. It was quite funny because the feedback from the cabal quoted, "It is the crypto degenerate rave lord Vector Meldrew is due to give a lecture at this university. We do not approve. He's a scam artist." So yeah.
Oh, I mean, I get this a lot on the channel. Like, I'm a hustler, I'm a grifter, you know, like just stop hustling people. I'm not hustling anybody.
You are
I
a
haven't.
grifter, though.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, 100%. That's obvious. Everybody knows that. I am painfully and consciously aware that there are projects which I like more, and it's not about art and it's not about the price. It's just you get a vibe, and it's a combination of different things. One of the things that we should definitely talk about is the sad passing of a lot of money. What was your experience of this man and his art?
I've gotten a lot of money background here as well. I mean, in terms of my personal experience with him, I would say I didn't have the deepest relationship with him. You know, I was obviously admiring him from afar as a fan. The only thing I would say is that he did help me. Like when I first came into the scene, and I was just like asking questions manically to people, like, "What is this? How do we handle this? What does this work?" And it was quite hard. Like, not a lot of people got back to me. Like, and there's not a lot of people you could ask certain questions because you're kind of asking people of a higher level, like how you manage or negotiate certain things. And he was one of the people that did get back to me. Like, I was in his Discord. He would comment on my work, always be really positive. If I had like technical questions or I guess like industry navigation questions to ask, he would answer me. So like he was just a positive force when I first came in. And yeah, like I can't say that, you know, we chatted all the time or that kind of relationship, but that just made me always admire his work from afar. And, you know, so I work a lot or speak a lot to a guy called Eclectic Method and a collector called Bacillus. And there's a whole group of people there, Angie Taylor, and they're obviously like really, really close with a lot of money. So they put on an event for the passing. It was in crypto voxels. I supplied and a lot of money VJ set for this, essentially a funeral, a metaverse funeral, I guess, the first metaverse funeral that I've attended. And it was amazing. I think they basically crashed crypto voxels because there was so many people. There were all these like heart emojis coming off of the avatars. It was quite fascinating to witness. And then afterwards, there was a Twitter Spaces where everybody shared their stories about a lot of money. And I was more just a listener for that. But it was really inspiring just to hear. You had like Trevor Jones there, again, Eclectic Method, Bacillus, Angie Taylor, and a host of other collectors and artists. And everyone just had something incredibly positive to say about him. There was like no, you know, and the fact that he always had something incredibly positive to say about everyone else. And, you know, it was always the humor that came up, you know, the way his humor came across on Twitter. He was all, you know, that was always his game. He would like use humor as a way to deflect so many things. He could like calm down situations with his humor. Also stories, you know, he was working for John McAfee at one point. I don't even remember the height of John McAfee back in 2017. I think that was actually how he kind of made a name for himself. Like he was doing all kinds of like little jobs for John McAfee. Like John McAfee would like ring him like high or whatever, drunk, and be like, "Hey, I need you to make me a credit card." And a lot of money would like design him a credit card or whatever the weird ask he was when he was running from the authorities on his boat with all these weapons. So obviously John McAfee, I think he's in prison now. Or is he dead?
Oh, he's dead. He's
dead.
dead.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he died.
Yep.
So yeah, you know, that's just kind of an interesting, you know, cosign in some ways as well. So just to have such a big impact in so many ways.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, we had this conversation with Josie as well. He was, you know, a genuine old timer of the space. Let's not call them OGs, who grew up through this very innocent time when art was the thing and crypto art it didn't have any of this kind of toxicity attached to it. And I think we have to remember that there are different flavors and shades of this, and there are people who've been in this space for a very long time and have left a big mark and big impact on people. And whether you like NFTs or not, whether you like blockchain or not, you cannot deny that this was a human that inspired people to be artistic and to be creative. And if you're hating on that, then what the fuck are you doing? Seriously, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I love this image, the double eyes. That's such the classic a lot of money signature. These sort of surreal double eyes going on.
Yeah, I love the way that quite often with artists, if there's something about the eyes, and if an artist can kind of figure out their signature thing with eyes, I think it's like, you know, Cause, you have the cross eyes. But yeah, I always loved A Lot of Money's double eye thing. I've actually been in that situation quite many times where I can see 4 eyes on people. It's quite weird.
That is quite weird. I don't know what substance you were taking to to make that happen. So the next piece of news that we wanted to talk about was LimeWire. So
yeah,
this logo, it's like calling back in time, like 2002, 2003.
Really
like
is.
My first peer-to-peer experiments, shall we say. What are we allowed to say these days? I was downloading MP3s off the internet.
I was just browsing them. I was just
browsing, and yeah. So I remember looking for like rare drum and bass mixes, and then chatting to some random dude, and then it would be like 4 hours to download like 5 megs of material. But like, yes, I got it, yeah. And then like you'd ambitiously try and get like an entire CD. But LimeWire was like the Napster that wasn't. It didn't have the kind of stink of Napster about it, but man, like I spent a lot of time on LimeWire just browsing. I was like, oh my god, you can get this, you can get this, you can get this. It's like it was Spotify before Spotify, and it was illegal. But
also it was P2P. Like that's a thing a lot of people don't understand, that before we have the internet as we know it now, there were certain protocols that were classed as P2P, which is essentially what we're trying to move towards now with like crypto and decentralization. Like LimeWire was a P2P network. It wasn't going through servers. Like the individual people were running the nodes, and you distribute the files in that way. So the fact that LimeWire is coming back, which is essentially like a Web 1 thing before things got all centralized during Web 2, and now LimeWire is making a comeback, is quite interesting, really, because it's kind of like what they set out to do originally in some ways.
It is. I mean, you can't help being skeptical about it, because it's like, why are you coming back now? And did it ever go away? I mean, so they've got a LimeWire token, obviously, and the whole idea is that they're going to be an NFT marketplace. I joined the wait list because I'm an idiot, and that's what I do. If you look at the FAQs, LimeWire is relaunching as a digital collectibles marketplace for art and entertainment, because we need another one of those, right? Initially focused on music, though. So that's kind of how I encountered LimeWire. You could get JPEGs and movies, but movies were way too big. It was music was the thing. And using LimeWire, you'll be able to create, buy, and trade NFT collectibles with ease. But like, do we need this? I don't know. I'm kind of struggling to see where it fits into my mental map of stuff that we need in Web3, and it feels like it's a novelty and it's fun, but like, so what?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to run another marketplace. I mean, you know, we're still waiting for the Coinbase marketplace, really. That's supposed to be the big one. I mean, do we need another marketplace?
There you go. That was the LimeWire experience right there.
That was it.
That was it. That was it. And like, no, did you see 320 kilobytes a second? And that's fast as well. Oh my god, that progress bar! You would just pray it would complete, because if it didn't, that was it. Game over.
Yeah, you could wait around though for somebody else to pop online that had file.
Exactly. Yeah. But then if you're looking for something, I was always looking for something rare that I remembered from like 1991 or something, that someone would just kind of turn into an MP3 and put online. But that was definitely it's just a weird one. It's a brand that I just associate with just being such a reckless young asshole, because I am not so young anymore. But yeah. So May 2022, the official launch of the LimeWire marketplace, a public token sale in Q4, official launch into the film industry. That worries me. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I think if you look at essentially LimeWire is quite similar to BitTorrent, and if you look at a lot of the work BitTorrent was doing, and I'm talking about before NFTs, I mean like probably from about 2010 to about 2015.
Yeah.
They were trying to do a lot of this to kind of like get their way into Hollywood, get record labels on board, and focus more on media distribution and better ways to do that. So
it was bundles, right? BitTorrent bundles. So
that's correct.
It was a packaging thing where you could basically go peer to peer and sell what you had made. And like we were talking earlier today, like Radiohead did one, I think.
Yeah, it was other. I think it was Radiohead. It was also Moby. It might have been definitely Moby, but it might be Radiohead as well. It was a guy called Matt Mason who's now at Palm doing the same job, except for people don't hate him. Whereas before they actually wanted Hollywood and record labels actually wanted to kill him.
Oh wow! Look, I found the the blog. Here it is.
So they were executing on this quite well, but it was kind of the wrong time. And then unfortunately, Justin Sun bought the company, and it went a bit weird.
Did you see the Verge article about Justin Sun?
Yeah, I did. I read it. It sounded.
Oh, it's lengthy.
Yeah,
it's
I read
lengthy.
It's.
You get the feeling that there's so much more that's not there. So here is the Verge article about Justin Sun. Oh my god! I mean, Justin Sun has been this larger than life character in crypto since the days of Tron, and he was held up as this kind of this Jack Ma protege. I don't know where that story came from, but it certainly isn't the case. And like this article, if any of it's true, which I'm pretty sure that it is, and again, it doesn't tell you the whole story. It's just another example of just how idiotic this space has been for those who try to exploit it. But anyway, definitely worth having a read of.
It was a weird acquisition because BitTorrent was obviously trying to achieve big things and was revolutionary in some ways, but I guess in some ways it was too early and it probably struggled a bit. So I guess when Tron came along to acquire it, in some ways it made sense, but in other ways it was just like, don't know how this is going to turn out well.
Well, the narrative around 2017-18 had a very Web 2 flavor to it, which was massive scale, as many users as we can possibly find. And BitTorrent comes bundled with just because millions and millions and millions and millions of users, which blockchain at that point didn't have. And no blockchain really had that many users. And it's quite hard to quantify what a user is anyway, because like Facebook, you go there and you spend time on the platform, but Ethereum, you use it, but you don't go there and spend time on the Ethereum platform. So it's a slightly different kind of way of looking at things, but that was what BitTorrent was for the Justin Sun mega plan. And of course, yes, it didn't work out. And there was the BTT token, and then there's just allegations of hideous market manipulation with the Tron token as well. None of that has anything to do with NFTs, but of course, Justin very famously bought a rock for 400 grand. He got very upset that the Ukrainian government hadn't added a Tron wallet for donations to the Ukrainian war effort. Very vocal about that. It's like, Justin, shut up.
Well, yeah, that was ridiculous. But it has nothing to do with NFTs, but essentially the BitTorrent bundles were NFTs before they were NFTs.
Yes, they were. So listen, did you see this one, Cyberbrokers?
It's amazing. Yeah, and it's doing really well as well. Everybody seems to love this.
So the Cyberbrokers. We had Josie Bellini on the podcast 3 weeks ago talking about this, and she's awesome. I mean, she's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And she's been working on this for the longest time. And I'm really happy that it's worked out well for them. I think people have really responded to the look of them. We can go through the collection here. There's a whole bunch of different species. So most of them are human. And the humans also look awesome. So there's a lot of variety. But the thing about this collection is that the art is on chain. So it's all hosted on the blockchain. There is no IPFS, there's no Arweave, there's no Amazon server that can go down. This is all on chain. It's spectacularly difficult to do that. And there's also a piece of code in there which will allow you to upgrade, change, modify, alter the NFT according to what it does in the larger universe of Cyberbrokers. So this isn't the de facto finished state, the frozen state of your NFT. You can modify it and grow it and change it as your involvement in the story goes.
Wow. So not only is that difficult, isn't that highly expensive to implement?
Yes, extremely expensive to
implement. Doing like dynamic avatars as well on chain on Ethereum. That's also quite expensive, right?
Yes, and the reason that I'm kind of bringing it up is because when people talk about low effort, they go, yeah, well, it's just low effort art, and it's, you know, it's they've just forked something, they've done something really easy. Point them to cyber brokers and say, okay, what's this then? Because this isn't low effort. It takes an enormous amount of skill to create a collection where there are no munters. They all have something, and there are some genuinely interesting pieces of just art here. And it's fun, it's quirky, it's, you know, this is obviously Umbrella Academy inspired. It's pop culture. I love there's a monkey as well, and there's a robot, there's a cultist. Here's the ape. The ape looks cool. Also feels like it's a little bit inspired by Umbrella Academy. Have you read the Umbrella Academy, by the way?
No, what is that?
Oh, it's a graphic novel. I'm like a big graphic novel nerd. I think I have a copy of it on the shelf over there.
I'm more like Stray Bullets, that kind of thing.
I knew I had it. I'm living the dream here. I'm a pop culture junkie, but like particularly graphic novels. I absolutely love them.
I'll put that on my list.
And there's a character in here that has a goldfish head. I don't know if you can see that.
Wow.
And that's where that comes from. But there's also the one of the characters in the house that these kids live in is a very well-spoken monkey, and he looks after them and teaches them and stuff. And so that's kind of what this monkey looks like. But anyway, we digress. It's a stunning testimony to just what you can actually accomplish as genuine blockchain crypto art, and it's not low effort. Not at all. Same thing with CloneX. Like CloneX is just so not low effort. So there are examples everywhere, and it's like it's not that everything in this space is good, but in the same way that there are terrible bands and terrible pop acts that should never see the light of day. There are terrible NFTs. It doesn't mean that everything is bad. And I'm having a hard time at the moment articulating that argument to people without good examples to show them. And so, you know, when we rightly talk about scams, I think what people don't talk about is how a community can rally round when something bad happens. Like we talked about a lot of money in the CryptoVoxel's funeral. Like that's just something that happened organically by itself. The people can act in bizarre ways, and they can be assholes to you in the morning, but they'll be your best friend in the afternoon and rally around and actually do something good. There is, you know, as much as there are idiots, those idiots are also capable of compassion, and that is part of being human, I think. So I'm waiting for our next guest to come on, and he hasn't. So it's going to be you and me jamming for the next kind of 10 minutes or so until we give up. Anything else that you wanted to jump on? So we were actually going to talk about this, Ariel, which is it's a sustainability platform, basically. So we've heard this accusation that NFTs are bad for the environment, and you challenge NFT haters to provide the data per NFT to support their argument, and they have a hard time doing it. So this is a project which it has an app, and it allows you to track your carbon footprint. And I suggest anyone who has any interest in that at all, download it because it's really fun to use. But they also have this NFT part. So you can offset your NFTs. This is not to say that anchoring an NFT to the Ethereum blockchain, for instance, is going to create any less energy, but you can very much offset it and be transparent about how you offset it using Ariel. And we had hoped to have Andreas from Ariel on the show, but he hasn't shown up. So we can just show you that. But again, this is, there's a different carbon footprint to an NFT on Polygon or on Tezos or on Harmony or on, well, I'm going to say Cardano. Oh, damn it, I said it, to this. So, yeah.
The NFTs on Cardano yet?
The Cardano heads will tell you 100%. Of course there have been. Cardano did everything before everyone else, and they do it better. And they are the best blockchain in the world. I'm not paid by Cardano, by the way, and I never will be.
Just a Cardano maxi.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want, you can read out my feedback, which is on my Twitter. From there's a few paragraphs there that are fun to get into. I mean, I feel that Aerial app will be some good fodder for this upcoming debate that might happen.
The which one?
Just the upcoming debate for my university debate, which I guess I'm excited about because I feel it's important if there's an animation course to get more animation people on board in this scene, building the metaverse. If you scroll down, there's like a thing with pyramids. I made a piece of art. I was going to mint it. I didn't have a chance yet. It's called Low Effort Art. A bit more down. But yeah, it's there it is.
You made some low quality art.
Of course,
Bless you.
With a voiceover.
Beautiful. The crypto degenerate rave lord Vector Melder is sent to give a lecture at UWE Bristol this Wednesday. Many of the people on this course suspect they are a scam artist who should not be allowed to give lectures. A brief review of this person's website and social media shows that he is a vocal advocate of NFTs and cryptocurrency, which are widely accepted by the general public as a misleading and unacceptable use of digital media. I do not have time to describe in detail the flaws of NFTs. However, their primary model involves selling low-quality artwork in a way that resembles pyramid schemes and uses such large levels of processing and electricity to do wide-scale environmental damage. Many of the people at UWE Animation do not want to promote this individual's works, and as such believe UWE is promoting bad values when it comes to the integrity of art, good professional practice, and methods used to actually create a sustainable income in the art industry. Good Lord, my friend. Good Lord.
I know. Imagine that.
The environmental energy issue coming from gamers is the one that I have the hardest time with, because do you know how much electricity PCs, big, powerful PCs consume?
Oh, a lot.
It's
GPUs.
It's spectacular. They use an enormous amount of energy. And hey, we have Andreas. What a perfect time to add Andreas to the stream. Andreas, welcome. We got you finally.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How are you? I joined the Hangout link. I wasn't sure. That's what happens when you send out calendar invites through Google. It generates a meeting link automatically. So
it generates a meeting link automatically. When we say there's a book behind you that says "Guess Who," so why don't we guess who you are? Well, we actually already introduced you, but welcome to the show. We actually went through and had a little look at Aerial already, but why don't you give us a kind of overview of your company and what you do and why it's important?
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. So founded Aerial with two of my partners, Ari and Ebby, one who leads design, one who leads engineering. And the idea from the start has been to help quantify emissions from different sources and give you really comprehensive ways to see that data and understand it, try to reduce it, and then take action on it. So we've built a couple different products. I saw you were doing the screen share and you showed our mobile app. So we have a mobile product on iOS that's coming to Android soon that is mostly focused on travel and transportation. So things that you're doing, in the real world. And then we have products for Web3 metaverse focused primarily on Ethereum-based NFT collections. We also have a crypto tool that works with Bitcoin and Ethereum that helps you understand what the estimated energy consumption is of your wallet. So really just helping people understand these different types of emissions, how to reduce them, and really the direction that things are going. So that's a brief overview.
So it's actionable data that can help you kind of get an overview of your own carbon footprint and what it is you're doing. And I wonder if people are sort of slightly blinkered or think it doesn't apply to them, or that, what kind of insights can you get through this app, and how could we use those to do a better job of managing our carbon emissions?
Yeah, so it's unique in how it works, because you sign up with your Gmail or your Microsoft account, and we automatically show you your entire carbon footprint for the last few years, as well as the current year and then activities going forward. So it's like the split second you get a United Airlines booking or British Airways, you see a push notification, and then you can see that information. So it doesn't actually require you to manually input data. Same thing with like trains and rideshare, Uber, Lyft. And so the first thing is like building that intuition around carbon. That's one thing. So very few people know what a kilogram or a ton of carbon equates to. So if you can start seeing that, like, London to JFK, okay, that's about a ton of CO2. You build that intuition of what that equates to. Sort of like how activity tracking apps built that intuition around calories. A lot of people are like, oh, if I run a 5K, I'll burn, 2,000 calories. That really wasn't possible until we had apps like Fitbit and Strava and Runtastic. So that's one aspect to it. And then the second is, learning about the sources of energy from different energy and materials from things that you like to do. So, obviously, we all like to buy clothes, fast fashion, for example. A lot of the materials are made from petroleum-based products. So that comes from oil. Plastics obviously come from oil, right? So, we don't try to put undue shame on people. We just the whole platform is around data and helping people understand, like, where these energy sources are coming from, what materials are made out of, and so people can just sort of build that understanding and hopefully make more informed choices when they're able to.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that might be hard for people, is to understand that there is an impact of everything that we do, but it's very hard to kind of take that and say, okay, well, I know this and therefore I can do this. And then I saw at least 2 carbon credits projects release in the last 24 hours. And so I've started to think about this. I've also started thinking about it with my kids as well. Like, what is this? The other thing I've been thinking about, and it's on your site, which is kind of one of the reasons why we wanted you on the show, is offsetting NFTs. Like the simplest, kind of easiest knife to stab in the back of the NFT world is, oh, it's bad for the environment. Most people at that point go, oh, well, then I'm not interested. Even if they themselves are not particularly good at offsetting their carbon, the fact that that could be the case for NFTs is a good enough reason for them to walk away. And I think what you're offering here is an opportunity for projects to counter that and say, well, yes, we recognize this and come back. But I'm curious how you got to NFTs from where you were.
Yeah. So yeah, on the first point that you mentioned about, your the decisions that you make and you think about your kids, I think that's an important thing for all of us to think about, just because we all drive demand for fossil fuel based products and services. So, as we become more aware of what's driving that demand, because people point fingers at big corporations and governments saying, do more, but who's driving demand for all of these services and materials? It's us as the consumers at the end of the day, right? And so, yeah, it is hard for like one person to, shift a paradigm. But as people are becoming more aware of these things, consumers have a lot of power in the direction that brands and companies go. So the hope is that, as we do become more aware of that we can move things in the right direction. When it comes to NFTs, so our team, we are technologists, so we've been in software world, designing products, building products. So I was previously at Microsoft doing business development, was managing a team there, and I helped build startups before that. And my partners, one of them has a design background and design products with me at Microsoft and Instagram and WhatsApp. And my other partner, he built products at Apple, Google, Casper, a number of great companies. And so we've always been into new technologies, and crypto and NFTs were things that, being in the industry, particularly, like, we've been immersed in it for a long time. And I wouldn't say any of us are like hardcore crypto or NFT people per se, but we've been around it. So we started playing with it about a year and a half, 2 years ago. We had test minted a couple things, and we were following it. But about a year ago, things started to get very crazy. We from every direction, everyone that we knew in entertainment, a lot of our friends in the tech world and the software world were minting NFTs, and energy consumption started to become one of the top talking points. So we had prototyped something actually in our mobile app that allowed you to see the energy consumption of your crypto wallet, but we actually put it on ice because we were like, you know what, travel, transportation, those types of things are a bit more of a wide use case. Let's not put a wallet feature in the app. It just doesn't make sense right now. Fast forward a couple months and people start talking about energy consumption of NFTs. So we basically revived this, bit of infrastructure that we had built to look at smart contracts, energy consumption, and we started looking at NFT drops. And at that point, we were like, wow, this is definitely a, pretty substantial energy footprint for something that is occurring in a digital world, in the metaverse, right? So it was at that point that we built a tool. And our first couple of partnerships, we did one with Calvin Harris and Mr. Brainwash and a couple other big brands and creators. And from there, it just became really popular and people started using it.
So I guess what I'm hearing is the NFT impact is legit. It's real. And we can't get around that. A lot of that is, of course, because proof of work is energy intensive. That is just the nature of the beast. But are there ways in which you can then kind of reduce the impact? And is that going to be something you're going to be building into the app as well?
Yeah. So the thing with the energy consumption conversation, it's an interesting one because you have Ethereum and there are alternative blockchains that are proof of stake that exists and that people can build on. Tezos is one of them. Obviously Polygon, and even Solana, right? Flow. So there are blockchains that consume exponentially less energy. But the challenge is, if you're a creator, is you want to be where the action is. You want to be building for the future. You want to be really where all the value is. And so if you look just purely objectively at the data on the marketplaces, it is without a doubt that Ethereum-based collections generally have the most long-term value. And you can go to OpenSea right now and look at the different blockchains and go 7 days, go 30 days, go 365. And you'll notice that anything that you've heard of or have collected is probably on Ethereum. So it's a tricky thing, right? You want to create value, you want to be where the action is. And so that's why a lot of people have been, maybe trying these other blockchains, but then going back to Ethereum. So for example, last year, the first quarter of last year, when things started to pick up really heavily, over the summer, there was a pretty big, I guess, kind of test phase where people were building on other blockchains. And then about near the end of last year, after the summertime, it exploded back onto Ethereum. And this was just a observation that we saw. And we asked people, why is that? And they said, well, the value of our collections is greater on Ethereum. So it's tricky. It's not that there aren't alternatives. It's just that a lot of the action and a lot of the value is on Ethereum. Now, the good news is that, the consensus layer, which was, previously known as Ethereum 2.0, is on the way. Not sure exactly when that will hit, but, our perspective has always been, we believe in technology and innovation, and we think that long-term innovation will solve these problems around energy consumption. So things like the consensus layer, alternative blockchains. But what we wanted to do is just provide a way for people to, right now understand their energy consumption and have ways to take action. And, they're not perfect. I'm not going to say that, any sort of carbon removal is a perfect solution, because it's not. The real solution is, a reduction at the source. And we're technologists. Like, we believe in a technology focus approach there. So yeah, that's just some observations and
yeah, but it's really useful because I instinctively looking at the environmental question, there is no doubt that the traffic that was driving transactions, it kind of moves around. Sometimes it's shitcoins, sometimes it's NFTs, and that's what's powering transactions on the Ethereum blockchain. But NFTs have kind of continued, and they come with all this other baggage as well, and all these other things. And like, nothing in this space is perfect, but it's also good to like be real about it. Like, if this is a real thing, it's a real thing. And so I think the onus is on us to figure out what matters more to us. And then, of course, we need advocates for better, more responsible use cases, or just the way we do things. And sometimes it's not possible to move to another chain. So what are you going to do to offset the cost of what you've done as an artist?
Yeah. And also another thing that's really cool is, with a lot of the people and brands that we've worked with that do have these really big platforms, they are like, how can we help move this conversation forward? And that's where it's been really cool to work with these partners, because we can help them form an informed point of view. And they can then help, push the narrative forward in a productive way. So as opposed to just like putting a drop out there and doing carbon removal and talking about it, how about talking about where Ethereum is going and how, this problem will be solved in the long term through innovation, and that this is something we're doing now, but the real solution lies in technology, and that we need to accelerate this process to transition to a more sustainable Ethereum. So that's been a really cool part about working with some of these, more higher profile artists and creators and brands, is like, being that voice in the community where it's like, I mean, if you're building a new blockchain, like, sustainability is just, it's table stakes at this point. Like, it is going to be part of your white paper and part of your architecture. So that's pretty amazing. Like, let's talk about that for a second, right? Like, that's a huge win. The fact that like there's just no way you could put a new protocol out there that isn't sustainable.
And it's also interesting that, with the global conditions being what they are right now, there's suddenly this kind of like renewable energies on the table, because if we have to switch off Russian energy, just cut it off, like there's going to be a huge shortfall that has to be made up somewhere. And you're like, well, is this the big slap in the face that the world needed to make a big shift right now? I've brought up the page where we can calculate an NFT footprint, and this is a project which has 6,197 carbon credits required. I wonder if you could talk me through the data that we've got here, and then once you've done that, I'll tell you what project it is. But I think it's really fascinating to see, like, in real time, the data on a specific project. So what do we have here in front of us?
Yeah. So what you did is you pulled up the tool and you put in a smart contract.
I did.
And then this information appears. So this is a massive smart contract, whatever it is. It's probably a very, very big PFP collection or something similar, or maybe an exchange smart contract. But yeah, because 36,000 transactions is a that's more than some of the most popular PFP collections out there. So yeah, what you're seeing is the gas use. So that is a variable that Ethereum has, which is a really nifty variable, because it's essentially the compute power in a unit. So it's pretty cool that Ethereum has that. Then you have the number of transactions. So that's the number of transactions on the blockchain for that particular smart contract. And then from there, you have an estimated CO2 emissions number, which is based off of the energy consumption of the Ethereum network and the average gas used per transaction. And so that energy consumption of the network, it changes over time. So at any point where you are using our tool, it's updating real time. And then from there, you have 6196 on the left, K. So that's obviously that's in kilograms. And
Holy moly.
yeah, and then if you divide it, so 1 ton of CO2 is 1,000 kilograms. So, and 1 credit is 1 ton of CO2 equivalent. So that's how you get the number on the right. And then the amount is based off of the cost of the projects, of the carbon removal projects. And so, yes, this is a massive contract. I'm curious to see what it is.
So before we do that, though, if I wanted to pay this, so if I'm buying carbon credits to offset this collection, where are those carbon credits coming from, and what are they?
Yeah, so we partner with a couple different organizations that do first advanced carbon removal, which is essentially taking carbon from the air and converting it into negative carbon. And then we partner with projects within the biosphere. So we have forestry oriented projects right now based in North America primarily. And then we're adding ocean-based projects as well going forward. So every project that we work with is vetted and verified by third parties. So there are a couple of major ones in the space, in the carbon markets. One is Vera, which is one of the more reputable ones, American Carbon Registry, Climate Action Reserve, and there are a couple others like Gold Standard. So when you're talking about forestry-related projects, it's those entities. When you're talking about more advanced carbon removal, as I mentioned, we work with a company right now called Charm Industrial, which is based in San Francisco and Oklahoma. And what they do is they convert biomass waste, so you could imagine like any sort of plant-based waste, into a biofuel. And that biofuel is injected deep into the earth into what were previously oil caverns. So it's like this harmless, environmentally harmless bio oil that is put back where oil was once pulled out as a negative emission. Pretty cool technology. Companies like Microsoft, Stripe, Shopify, Square have all supported Charm Industrial. So there's some really great people behind it. And yeah, we've got some ocean-based projects that we're going to be adding soon. So it's a pretty fast-moving market. And so we just, at any given point, we're trying to find the most interesting, relevant projects for people to support through Ariel.
Yeah, it's interesting that you can pay your Nft footprint with another ETH transaction with Coinbase. That's still the nice integration though. The project in question has made a ton of money. So this bill for just shy of 6 figures, 100 grand. I mean, it's a drop in the ocean for them. It is, of course, the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Oh,
So this is the carbon cost of the Bored Ape Yacht Club to date, 100 grand. So if they were to spend 100 grand on carbon credits, they would zero out their carbon footprint. It's sobering and also interesting that really they should be doing this. Basically, all projects should be doing this because the relative cost in financial terms in a market which is making so much money hand over fist, it's a no-brainer. So I would urge any projects out there that have a contract, have transactions going through, just go and check out this page on the Ariel website and just get some feedback on the real cost of what you're actually doing, because it's not that bad. It's not scary. It's just it should be something we're all thinking about, I think, anyway.
Yeah, and also just to note, the we actually use Coinbase Commerce for the ETH transactions intentionally because a lot of the transactions actually happen off chain within Coinbase. So that's one of the benefits of using that is it's actually not incurring a transaction on the blockchain.
Well, there you go. Vector, do you have any questions for Andreas?
I think no further questions, Your Honor. I'm not as clued up on this subject, but I'm interested to learn about it.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to be that clued up. It's really pretty straightforward. Like there is a carbon cost to everything that we do, and you can be more mindful of it, and you can return that carbon back in some way in a positive light. And yes, you'll feel good about yourself, but actually it should be something we all do. It's not that difficult. It really isn't that difficult. And it's not toxic and it's not shameful or anything else. It's just like, just go do it. You know, you fill your car up with gas when it runs out, just fill up your carbon credits. It's, am I underselling it? Is it, there's more going on, Andreas, but I really think it's that, right? It's just a daily habit.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is first reduction. So whether you're a government or a company or an individual, just thinking about, how can we reduce our emissions going forward? So, obviously there are those more material things that you can do, like getting an electric car or going solar. But like I mentioned before, there are decisions that we can all make, like not supporting fast fashion, for example. Like spend a couple bucks more, get a higher quality garment that isn't going to go in the waste bin in a year, or buy secondhand, right? Like those are like things that are not going to sacrifice your quality of life per se, that will have meaningful impacts. I also wanted to note there have been some cool innovations with regard to smart contract development. And I don't know if you guys have heard of ERC 1155A, but it's pretty cool how, there's do you know the Azuki drop?
Yes.
Yeah, they came up with it, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so like Azuki and Wonder Pals. It was interesting. Like I started to see these tweets like that people had, minted NFTs for really low gas fees, and started to look into it. And turns out that they're using this contract called ERC 1155A, which reduces the gas fees for buyers. I'm still researching it because I'm wondering if maybe those gas fees are made up on secondaries, but it is cool that people are, trying to optimize smart contracts to lower gas fees and energy consumption.
Well, like you said, there's innovation everywhere. The biggest problem that we have is that the bulk of the action is on Ethereum, and we've had this attempt, as you said, to move value. And in DeFi, which is where I'm sort of, or I call home base, a lot of it did move to other chains, to take advantage of lower gas fees and stuff, which brings with it other problems. But yeah, I mean, it's just what's the word? Apathy, as much as anything else. People just, I can't be bothered. And then, you need a big slap in the face, like a war or something else, to make that happen. But then you also need leaders, people who will, stand up and say, I'm doing this, and then other people will follow them. So someone has to be first, and it might as well be you, basically. Mm-hmm. Inspirational words on a late Thursday afternoon. Andreas, thanks so much for joining us. I'm sorry we gave you the wrong link, but
no problem.
I'm really glad we've got a chance to talk about this, because I think it will catch on, and it should catch on. And I'll post various projects, Carbon Footprint, on Twitter and see what happens. See if we can give them a prod to think about it a bit more, because it is so easy. Vector, you said you had no more questions. In which case, I'm going to say thanks so much to everybody for joining the stream. Thanks to Andreas, thanks to Adeline, and thanks to Vector Meldrew. We will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
I stand all day in the West Carolina.
Yes. Yes, we're still live.